Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be in honor of October, which is actually Infant Loss Awareness Month. It's basically, the awareness of losing a child, which includes molar pregnancies, miscarriages, stillborns, infant death, ectopic pregnancies, stuff like that you are pregnant, of course, your child passes away, you gave birth in a hospital and you never get to bring your baby home, that kind of thing. It's very heartbreaking because I had lost my child myself, and it was a very gruesome kind of abnormalities that she did have. We found out at about 4 weeks along. As I was 4 weeks along, I went to the hospital because I was having back pains. I was cramping. I just was not feeling good. I had a previous history of ovarian cysts. I also had a previous history of kidney infections. So I went to the hospital because I couldn't get into my actual OBGYN quick enough and it was hurting. So I went to the hospital and next thing you know, they told me I was pregnant. Yay! Right? Okay. Alright, blah, 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 blah. Pregnancy moves along. Okay, well, I had a healthy pregnancy beforehand, and this is back in 2016, technically, when I first got pregnant. So we ended up getting the blood test instead of doing technically the second ultrasound at 13 weeks. So we got the blood test, which also tells us the gender of the baby. And at that time, it came back that it was a girl, that she didn't have Down syndrome, she didn't have anything that a blood screening could tell you. So she was perfectly healthy at that time of what the blood screening had said. Of course, like I said, we didn't get the ultrasound because Ella was completely healthy, so what was the point? Because most of the time, if you have a healthy first baby, your second, third, fourth baby are going to be healthy too. So we got that done, and then next thing you know, 18 weeks comes along, and we are going for our anatomy ultrasound. So we went to go get the anatomy ultrasound, and it was just weird. We didn't want to announce the gender beforehand because we wanted to get it checked off that it was a girl, because I didn't want to be like, it's a girl, and next it's a boy. Psych. So we went and got our anatomy ultrasound done. It was really weird. It was me, my fiance, my sister, and I think my mom. So it was all of us, and we went into the ultrasound room, and we waited and waited. We were in there for, I'm going to say, a good hour. And she just, with the little ultrasound probe on my belly, just kept going and going. She wouldn't say a word. She was quiet. She kind of gave off that eerie feeling like something was wrong, but with her job title, she can't really say anything. You actually have to talk to your doctor about your results and such. So we left without anything. I don't even think that I had any pictures. I don't think she printed any pictures at all. So that was something that was really weird, because with Ella, I got at least 20 to 25 pictures from that ultrasound, and it just rubbed me the wrong way. I was freaking out. I was in the lobby crying. They said that I just had to go out there and wait for my doctor, and I was waiting and waiting, and my sister just tried to comfort me and say, hey, everything's gonna be okay, everything's all right, you're stressing yourself out. Stress isn't good for you, stress isn't good for the baby, so you need to chill out. I was like, okay, I'll try and chill out. I will try. Well, that didn't really work. Of course, internal freak out, because you're like, well, I just want my kid to be okay. Hopefully she's okay. Hopefully that tech was just having a bad day, just being quiet. So 45-minute passes, and I get called into my doctor's office, and he sits us down, and he says that my ultrasound tech couldn't get a good look, but was pretty sure that her intestines were outside of the belly, which was a shock, of course. I asked him, hey, is there any way that we can get this fixed? And he told me, yeah, we can do surgery. She comes out, we'll just go ahead. Basically, they'll just put the contents back into the stomach and then sew her up. She may have problems for the rest of her life, of course, like eating, digesting, whatever, but we can fix her and she'll be okay. I said, okay, that's fine. Thank you. He did get us an appointment with a specialist, like an actual specialist, to deal with these ultrasounds and prepare for her birth. So we got in with her, I'm going to say a couple weeks later, I think it was only about a week later. I was about 19 weeks at the time. And we went into the room, just like the examining room, and we got my blood pressure checked, we got, fetal heart monitor checked, just the normal stuff that they do. And signed a paper saying, hey, we are not with a specialist. We have online things that you can actually go in and look at your ultrasounds. I was like, oh, that's cool. I've never really seen that before, where you can have access to every single picture that you can get. So that's interesting. We went to the ultrasound room, and that tech was quiet too, which was also weird due to the fact that we were going to a specialist, and you wouldn't think that she'd be quiet too. She was trying to lighten the mood a little bit, but you could tell that something was wrong. We were in there for at least another 45 minutes to an hour, just ultrasounds, just using the wand, looking at the belly. And after that, we got pulled into an office, which was really weird. I never even knew that these were a part of my actual doctor's office. Like, sit down, desk, computer, couple of chairs around the tables. Like, that's just weird. But she sat us down, and she just flat out told us that there was more than just that wrong with her. That there was all of her organs were on the outside of her body, including her stomach, her kidneys, her intestines. Just everything was on the outside, as well as her heart was on the outside of her chest cavity, which came as a huge shock. We were not expecting that. She also, her entire spine was curved in an S. It was weird. I knew the ultrasound looked different because I was like, okay, well, you know what? She's in a small area. She's probably like tucked it in a ball or something. But that was not the case. So when we were there getting the ultrasound, the two people with me was my fiance and my mom. I take my mom with me to every single appointment because I don't know why. I get in that chair and I forget everything. Like, my mind goes blank, and she always thinks of the questions and everything that I should be asking, but I forget. And she was blank-minded too. We were all just struck by the news. We asked her if there was anything that we could do at all. Hey, is there surgery we can do? Like, they had told us before, before it was actually everything, that like the intestines were out, that we could get that fixed. But with it being the heart and the curved spine and everything outside of the belly, there was nothing we could do to save her. Nothing. She gave us a piece of paper to an abortion clinic 400 miles away, or gave us the option to continue the pregnancy without her being able to be saved, which really set in when she gave that to me. After that whole thing, I went home. I talked to my mom. I talked to my dad. I talked to my fiance. The first person I actually called was my grandma because she's my biggest supporter of everything that I do. And we just didn't know exactly what to do. My first thought was, well, what if I go to full term? Maybe she can't make it, but what if we could donate her organs to be able to save another child? What if, if her heart's okay, yeah, it's outside of the, her chest cavity. What if we could save a child? Let them live a life that my child couldn't. Let her live on in, someone else. And that was my first instinct. I threw that abortion clinic paper away immediately. and we went on from there. A couple weeks later, I called my doctor because I just needed to get in. I wasn't feeling good anymore. I just was feeling sick. And they made me an appointment, but about a couple days before my appointment, I went to the hospital, and I was just crying, and I couldn't breathe. Like, my chest was tight and heavy, and I was there for like 5 hours just to find out that I had anxiety. This whole situation had flipped my mind, and it took me to a whole different place, and it gave me anxiety that I never even had before. I was perfectly fine before. I used to not have anxiety attacks, panic attacks, nothing, and that's what happened. So when I actually went to my appointment, he was surprised. Everybody in the entire office was surprised that I was still pregnant, because everybody else, not that this is something that everybody gets, this is something that's like 1 in a million kind of thing. He said getting this is like being struck by lightning. That's basically the probabilities. And so once we went there and he checked on us and stuff, he said, all right, well, we're going to get you into a fetal specialist over here in Vanderbilt, which is all the way in Nashville. It's a very highly recommended hospital. There's amazing workers there, amazing specialists, people who are better than just regular hospitals in counties and in towns and cities and stuff. So we went there and we got an ultrasound, and this was about, I'm going to say, a week later after that appointment. So at this time I was about 24 weeks, and we got another ultrasound, of course, by the actual fetal specialist. And they, she was nice. We actually have a CD of Addilynn that she saved for us. And and so, she's like, oh, look, there's her little face and her little nose, and she got the perfect little lips, and she just showed us everything and just kind of made light of the situation that we were in, even though we knew the ending of what it was going to be. And after the ultrasound, which was about an hour long, we went into another room. It looked like a conference room this time. It's a long table with chairs and a little TV and stuff like that. And the only person with me was my mom at the time. And what they had told us was there was more wrong than what they initially thought. Of course, it was her spine. Her heart was on the outside. Her organs were on the outside, and her spine. Well, she ended up having a club foot. There was also a hole in her heart. And my pregnancy had turned lethal to where it could kill me. Not only would she die inside of me, but I would die as well. The tubes connecting her kidneys to her bladder, which is, of course, they make the amniotic fluid. It's kind of like pee, whatever, but it's the amniotic fluid that keeps them alive inside of the womb. They were kinked, so she was slowly progressing, which would slowly kill her. Which would be like a domino effect towards me. And after that, they gave us the option. You can go to full term. We don't know what will happen. Or we can induce you, and you can have her in the delivery room. And that's what I chose to do. So, I'm gonna actually save the delivery for my next video of my whole little delivery story. But I did have Addilynn, and there was nothing we could do. We couldn't donate, nothing. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video. This is my story. Like I said, I'm gonna save the delivery part for my next video.